Hello and welcome. So today we're going to dive into a really powerful and, timeless story, the story of the Prophet Lut. It's a narrative that really makes you think about some deep questions, questions about moral courage, divine justice, and the incredible weight of our own personal choices. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let me start with a question, one that I bet we've all felt at some point in our lives. What does it really take to stand up for what's right when you feel like you're completely on your own? When it feels like the whole world is just going in the opposite direction. Well, that exact dilemma, it's right at the heart of the story we're about to explore. So, our story kicks off with the prophet Lut. He was sent to his people, and he found himself in a society that was, well, it was facing some pretty deep moral challenges. And he had this huge, immense task of being that lone voice in the crowd, the one person calling for a return to what's right. And he doesn't beat around the bush. He confronts them head on. The Quran captures his powerful words. Do you commit an immorality no one has preceded you with? I mean, just think about that for a second. There's no subtlety there, is there? It's a direct, unflinching challenge to the very foundation of his community's behavior. So if we break this confrontation down, there are really three huge things going on here. First, what he's calling out is described as an unprecedented deviation. I mean, something shockingly new, something extreme. Second, you just have to admire the prophetic courage, right? The guts it took to speak that truth so directly. And finally, this acts as a universal divine warning, a hint that some moral laws are just timeless and they apply to everyone everywhere. Now, you can't make a stand like that without some kind of consequence. And this confrontation, it leads to a decisive divine judgment. But here's what's so fascinating. This justice isn't just some blunt instrument that punishes a whole region. No, it's incredibly precise. So precise, it can even distinguish between members of the very same family. And the verse continues, "And we saved him and his family, except his wife. She was among those who remained behind." Wow. I mean, that is just a stunning moment in this story. The prophet, his followers, they're saved. But there's this one critical exception, his own wife. So the question is, why? This comparison right here gets to the absolute core of the whole lesson. See, on one side, you have Lut and those who actively chose to follow the divine guidance, they're saved. But on the other side, you have his own wife. Despite being physically as close as you can get to the prophet, she remained behind. This tells us loud and clear that salvation wasn't about who you knew or who you were related to. It was all about the personal choice each individual made. Let's really zoom in on this for a moment, because it is the central theme of the entire story. It shines a spotlight on the incredible power of our individual choices, and it hammers home this crucial idea that just being near a source of truth or goodness, well, that's never enough on its own. So what's the big takeaway here? It's this simple but profound idea. Being close to a prophet, or to revelation, or even just being around good people, that doesn't guarantee your salvation. At the end of the day, your personal choice, your own commitment, your own actions, that is the ultimate deciding factor. Your belief has to be your own. All right, so let's pull the lens back a bit and look at the bigger picture. The story of Lut isn't just supposed to be some isolated event from history. No, it's a powerful illustration of these consistent, eternal principles that are just woven throughout the entire divine message. You see, this one story is like a perfect case study for four huge principles. First, the unified message of all prophets that they often share the same core truths across time. Second, that divine justice is incredibly precise, tailored right down to the individual. Third, the absolute crucial role of personal choice. And fourth, the existence of consistent moral standards. Lut's story basically puts all of these ideas into action. And that leaves us with one final thought to carry with us. If we accept that these divine principles, things like justice, accountability, and morality, are constant and unchanging, then it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How do our own personal choices, the small and large decisions we make every single day, define not just our lives, but who we really are? It's definitely something worth thinking about.